Hi, we're Jim and Myra Wright.
Welcome to Right Around the World.
Let's talk missions.
Jonapukkivanak,
안녕하세요.
Mirpashim.
Guten Abend.
Can you guess what we're talking about today?
Language. Yeah. Now, this is something that people fear, and let me explain why. Do you know what you call someone who speaks two languages?
Bilingual.
Do you know what you call someone who speaks three languages?
That's right, trilingual.
Do you know what you call someone who speaks one language?
American.
Yeah. We have heard that a lot of people say no to missions because they fear having to learn another language. And let's be honest, it's not easy. So we might be the wrong people to talk about this.
Or we might be the right people to talk about this.
The wrong people because we are never required or expected to, in-depth learn a language.
The right people because we deal with the people that have to learn it for a living. And we live in so many different language cultures, countries.
We go to these different countries and, we talk with Americans and we talk with people who understand English and we learn a little bit of the language. We learn how to greet people. We
How to
learn
read a menu.
how to say I'm sorry.
How to shop in the marketplace.
The words for beef and pork and
His
chicken.
favorite things
pizza.
that we have to learn.
Yeah. By the way, most places pizza is pizza.
or pizza.
Yes. But in any case, we totally understand this fear. It is one that kind of scares us
real.
as well, even though we don't have to face it. But it requires that we get out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
So
when we get dropped into a new place and the missionary flies away, that first morning we wake up and we think, what have we done? And you know what we do? We get in the car, we go out, we go shopping, we go and look around, and we try to get out of our comfort zone to become comfortable.
Yeah. So we want to first of all talk about the fear of learning a foreign language and how God gives us the grace to overcome that. And then we want to talk about the fun aspects of languages around the world. So first of all, let's talk about the fear itself and how God gives us the courage to get over it. First of all, you have to understand that not all languages are the same difficulty.
No.
First of all, there's a lot of places in this world where they speak English as their first language. Many places they have a second language as well.
Like in Wales, they speak Welsh.
Ireland, they
Ireland,
speak
they have the heavy brogue.
Gaelic. I think so. Yeah.
But even in the UK where they speak English, you still have to learn the vocabulary
Oh, yeah.
of that country.
Yeah.
So, but
You just put your suitcase
it's a
in the
lot
boot or the
easier.
bonnet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but then there are other places where they have mixed English or some other language with their tribal language, and that's known as a pidgin language. We're going to give you an example of that. This is an example in Cameroon in the western section where they speak English, but it is mixed in with their tribal language, and it's a little bit difficult to understand. But you can kind of follow along. Try to understand.
How much you pick out.
Yeah. Valerie is going to give you John 3:16. See if you can follow it, okay?
John 3:16. God be like this world plenty sute igi ye only one pikin. Say any man where he put heart for ye, he no go die go for fire, but he go get life where he no go come finish. John 3:16.
Did you enjoy that?
Anyway, that's pidgin.
That's pidgin.
Now, next we want to
Cameroonian
talk
pidgin.
about logical languages. And there are some languages that are more logical than others.
That would be Korean. It's a very logical language. Their symbols are actually
Each one of them
is
is a syllable.
a syllable.
Yeah. And the neat thing is the syllable has consonants and vowels right within that symbol. Very
Now,
logical.
It makes it hard for them to learn English
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah, because a lot of our syllables don't have vowels. For instance, you want to go to church, ch has no vowel, and so they have to add one. And so they will by nature just say, oh, I will go to churchy.
To churchy. Let's
Or
go for lunchy.
The beachy, yes. So
We
it's
love
kind
that.
of fun. But then there are also some let's not call them illogical languages. Let's call them counterintuitive to the English mind.
Oh, to the English mind. I was
Yeah.
going to say English at the very top of that is
Yeah.
counterintuitive.
Yeah.
We have so many rules, and then we have so many exceptions to the rules.
I before E, except.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, English is not a logical language. Now, it is for us, just like theirs is for them, but
Not to their thinking.
not someone who has to
Yeah,
learn it.
yeah.
And then there are the really, really tough languages.
Whew.
Okay, there are languages like Hungarian,
Hungarian.
one of the toughest, and that has vocabulary, but then it has prefixes and suffixes, and you can stack those on, and you can take a small word and turn it into something.
world.
Yeah,
A whole sentence, a whole paragraph
Yeah.
for one word.
Yeah.
So when we're there, we learn vocabulary so that we can kind of understand what they're saying, but to try to speak it
Yeah.
is very hard. But we do know Americans that are doing a great job of it.
yeah, and they're conquering it.
Yeah,
It can be
it
beaten.
can be done.
Another thing that's difficult is a tonal language.
Mm-hmm.
And tonal language means that you, like for instance, there's I heard one that has 5 different tones, and depending on where you say that particular consonant gives a meaning to it. And it comes across sounding like something out of, Charlie Brown's movies, Anyway, so there's
Sorry.
tonal languages. Those are tough to me,
Very.
but particularly if you're deaf, tone deaf.
Tone deaf.
There we
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Anyway, but listen, God knows about this.
Mm-hmm.
God's not going to call you to some place where you can't learn the language.
Exactly.
And He's going to give you the grace, and He's going to give you the patience. And here's the thing, rather than fearing it, there are some times when you simply need to go after something. And you need to say, you know what, if God's called me to this, He's going to give me the grace, and I'm going to conquer it. Now, that may take a lot of work. And I have the highest respect for these missionaries who not only raise their support, but then they go to language school many times in these countries. And by the way, that's best for the immersion process. And they spend a couple of years becoming a very sharp tool in the hands of God. And someone who has truly learned the language says something to a national. When they hear them speaking their language and speaking it well, they say,
They really love us.
yes.
Now, there is something else you can do. If you're a parent or a grandparent and you've got kids that you would love to see go into God's work as a missionary, get them to start learning a second language. Any language will help them in understanding a different language. I learned Spanish in high school, and that really has helped me to pick up different things in all of the different countries that we go to. So encourage your young people in your church, learn another language. God can use it.
Yeah. All of those years learning Pig Latin hasn't helped me at all.
Now let's get on to the fun aspect.
No. First of all, I've got to leave with one more thing. Listen,
Okay.
if God has called you to it, He will give you the strength and He will help you, and you can conquer it. Do not fear learning a foreign language. Now let's talk about the fun aspects
now.
of it. Okay, you go to a foreign country and you're walking down the street and somebody hears you speaking English and suddenly they want to talk to you.
We have gotten stopped all over the place with parents that have brought their kids up to us and said, we want them to learn English, speak. And it opens up opportunities left and right.
Many of these people have learned English in their public schools, but they've learned textbook language and they haven't really learned any conversational.
And that's what they're hungry for.
It's an open door for anyone who wants to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with people.
In several different countries, I've gotten to teach English as a second language, and it's a great tool because, of course, we use the Bible to do that. So
Another thing is that English actually is our mother tongue, and yet when we go and we spend a few months in these other countries, their language becomes comfortable to us.
for an example, when we were in Korea, we had to take a trip to do a visa reset out to Japan. So we went to Japan and we crossed and went, what? We couldn't understand any of their signs. And when we got back to Korea, it was like, oh, we're home.
Home where they speak Hangul.
Because we could recognize words by then. We knew where the bus stop or, what time it was even. Because it was our second home.
So it becomes a comfort thing. Secondly, there's a wonderful thing about the comparisons amongst languages and following words from one language to another. But, like for instance, in Hungarian, good is yo. We, say, yo, yo, yo.
But in Albanian, yo means no. So the whole time, and I was teaching all the children all the time, and I'd say, yo, 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 and they would be going, oh.
No.
Oh, no, that's not what I mean.
So there's comparisons, but there's also some fun confusions.
Oh.
In Korea, I was talking about how that the ancient mariners would put a rowboat down into the water. The problem is that the Korean ear cannot hear the difference between o and ah. And so my translator said, they would put the robots down into the water. And
Everybody went, what?
Yeah, they had no idea what was going on. Now,
but you learn to laugh at yourself, though.
Yeah.
And it also kind of gives a bond with the people. If you're laughing at yourself, they it helps us. I don't know.
Also, there's working with interpreters. Now, I've heard a lot of people who say, I hate working to interpreters. I call them interrupters.
No.
Hey, it's great. It gives you time to think in between the things that you say, so you can say something better, and also you can eliminate all of the strange
Idioms.
Americanisms that we put into our language.
We use a lot of them.
But it is fun working with interpreters. I love getting animated and talking and acting things out, and then making sure that my interpreter does it too. And I'll go boom, and anyway. It is an opportunity. It is not a bad thing. And I would challenge you, don't allow this to be a negative thing to you either. Allow it to be a positive thing, a thing that you look forward to. And if God calls you to it, He's going to give you the grace.
Now, in a couple of our countries that we've had the opportunity to be in, we've had two churches that really stand out in our mind that are very international. One in Ireland, where they spoke, I don't even know how many languages, and in South Africa. And so we want to share some of that with you today.
This video is John 3:16 over and over, but in all of these different languages, and it is from our church in South Africa. So enjoy.
Bye.
For God so loved the world.
Kwa kuwa Mungu aliupenda ulimwengu.
God het die wêreld so lief gehad.
Kuba wenjenje uThixo ukulithanda ihlabathi lakhe.
Modimo o ratile lefatshe hakakang.
That he gave his only begotten Son.
Ude wancama unyana wakhe okuphela kwamzeleyo.
Hata akamtoa mwanawe wa pekee.
Dat hy sy enigste seun gegee het. Hy van môre gaan soetjie aan noshi.
That whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
Ila amwaminie asipotee bali awe na uzima wa milele.
Sodat die wat hom nie glo, sal nie verlore gaan nie, maar die ewige lewe sal hê.
Ukuze bonke abakholwa kuye bangatshabalali koko babe nobomi obungunaphakade.
That whosoever will believe in him will not perish but have everlasting life.
เพื่อทุกคนที่เชื่อในพระบุตรนั้นจะไม่พินาศแต่จะมีชีวิตนิรันดร์
Mas tenho a vida eterna.
Gore o a mo dumelang a se ka latlhega a be le bophelo bo sa feleng.
For God came not into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Smiles.
Thanks for listening.
Help us broaden our outreach by liking and subscribing below.
And maybe even a share.
Thanks again, and may His best blessings be yours.